Yes, it is possible to make a full-time income as a freelance writer. It is possible to exceed six figures. I'm someone who has done that. However, your income will highly depend on a few different factors, and that's what I want to explain in this video today. I'm Christine from paidcopywriter.com. I'm a full-time copywriter that mentors other freelancers in how to start their business, how to get clients specifically, how to manage clients. So if you're interested in that content, you're definitely going to want to subscribe to this channel, and you're going to want to visit paidcopywriter.com and check out the free resources that I offer. I do have a free guide for getting on LinkedIn and learning how to market yourself as a writer on that platform and get those high paying clients. Grab that free guide. I guarantee you it's going to help you figure out this whole freelance copywriting thing much quicker. Now, here are the factors that your income is going to depend on, right? If you're wondering like, yes, I want to do this, but how much money can I expect to make? Well, you need to get these factors right in order to ensure a full-time income of at least $50,000 to $60,000 to start with. Factor number one is going to be your niche, the industry or the topic that you specialize in. And instead of trying to find the highest paying niche, whether it be finance or digital marketing, it's really about finding the niche that you can dominate and become an expert in. How can you brand yourself as the expert and build your whole online presence around that expertise? Instead of looking at what are the highest paying niches and industries, you want to look at whether or not this client has the budget for writers, has the need for maybe content writers, and then judge it from there. You really want to gauge how viable a niche is. If it's super obscure and no one's doing it, that could be a key indicator that there's not much need for it. So the best way to find your niche is really to find that intersection between what you don't mind writing about and wouldn't mind doing research on, and what your expertise is. What do you know a lot about? Also, what's really helpful is making lists of companies that you would want to write for, right? Get out a spreadsheet and create a list of companies. Just do a Google search and see what topics do they write about. Can you see yourself writing for this company? That's a really great way to check viability and see, do companies like this produce blog posts? Do they produce newsletters? What type of writing do these companies do, and how can I fit myself in and offer my service around that? The second income factor is going to be your web presence and how professionally you can present yourself online. Do you have a website with a purchased domain, meaning it says your name or yourcompanyname.com versus .wix, .weebly, something like that? I know this is a big debate in the freelancing world. Some people say you don't need to have a website, don't waste your time. But the reason people are saying that is because websites often become a procrastination device for writers. They will obsess over the name or their URL. They'll obsess over perfecting it and trying to get it to where it needs to be versus actually just creating good enough work and then starting the cold pitch process. If you know that you're a person who tends to procrastinate and fall into perfectionism, don't bother creating a website. Maybe right now you just need to put up a landing page, but in general, you have to position yourself as a business and as a service provider versus just a writer. So yes, having a single landing page might get you started, but eventually you're going to want to invest in your domain and have your presence live somewhere on the internet hosted, and you want to own it. Just know that your website doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to look great. I had never built a website, and I didn't know anything about web hosting before I got started as a freelance copywriter. But what I did was I just Googled a bunch of articles. I set a deadline for myself. I wound up on the phone with Bluehost's customer service for hours trying to understand how to point my domain and do all this stuff that I had never heard of. You have to have confidence that if you've never done it before, there is a resource out there. People dumber than you have figured it out. So please have confidence in yourself that even if you're not tech savvy, anyone can create a website these days. Now, the other part of your online presence will be your portfolio and your social profiles. You're going to want a writer's portfolio. I have a whole video about how to create a portfolio that I'll link down to below. It's okay if you don't have prior writing experience. You can still create a portfolio with the steps that I recommend. And you're definitely going to want to have some social profile set up, because I recommend that you do your pitching via social media versus email. Email is always something great to throw in there, but email is really time consuming, and I think it works well for certain niches. But for the most part, you can find who you're looking for and send them a DM directly on social media without having to track down their email address, which will save you a ton of time. It's also a more personable way to reach out because they can see your photo, whereas email is a wall of text. So yes, I have cold emailed, but it has not been my dominant strategy. So find out where your ideal clients hang out, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. However, I will say I recommend LinkedIn for just about everyone because you're most likely going to find the higher paying clients on that site. And I have a ton of videos explaining why that is, so I'll link to some of them below. You can find out all the wonderful things about LinkedIn. Now, income factor number 3 is your ability to get clients. And this is probably where freelancers struggle the most. And I think part of that reason, other than not knowing how to do the pitching and not feeling comfortable or confident enough to do the pitching, I think the real problem lies in the traditional advice that is out there about how to become a freelance writer. I'm going to link down to another video below where I talk about why traditional freelance writing advice keeps most people stuck, how it kept me stuck, and why I probably was in a totally different career field for so long because I never understood how to actually get into writing, all that good stuff. The traditional advice is really to learn writing and take courses and set yourself up and then create valuable content. And there are all these strategies of what I call passive ways to get clients. You have it's this mentality of build it and they will come. And the approach that I advise and the exact approach that I use to build my freelance business from scratch, despite having no experience, is not build it and they will come. It is get out there immediately and start pitching clients and start messaging people and telling them what you can do for them and see where it goes. Because even if you crash and burn, you will be so far ahead. You will learn what you're doing wrong. You will learn how to change your approach. You will make so much more progress than people who are sitting there, still perfecting their website, registering for another online course about how to be a copywriter. Yes, of course, we need to know the fundamentals of copywriting. And I think my benefit was understanding marketing and sales principles and understanding how I could parlay that into writing, which I already knew how to write. I was an English major and I had taken fiction writing courses, so I had never done anything related to copywriting. However, the ability to write was there. And for most people, the ability to write is there. I don't think you would be on this video if your ability to write wasn't there. So don't get super in your head about whether or not you're a good enough writer, because you will find out really quickly that the way we write as content writers and copywriters is different from many other forms of writing, and that the experience is really going to come through experience with the client and them giving you feedback. I think that's why I made leaps and bounds as a copywriter and content writer despite having no experience, is because I skipped all of the courses. I just put myself out there. I got someone to give me a chance. And then, yes, unfortunately, my work got corrected and torn apart. And it's something I still struggle with today, is receiving feedback. For me personally, it's one of the hardest parts of the job, is dealing with feedback and not letting it impact my self-esteem and my sense of self and all that stuff. But that's a whole other story for me and my therapist. But you have to understand that getting freelance clients is exactly what you need to be focused on once you get your online presence set up. Don't worry about it being perfect. Pick a strategy for how you are going to get clients. My recommendation is to start with cold pitching. You can skip Upwork, you can skip Fiverr. I have so many videos for free on this channel that will show you how to cold pitch. Whether you want to do that on Instagram, email, or my recommendation, which is LinkedIn, regardless, you can find out how to pitch and get in touch with your ideal clients and put yourself out there, throw your hat in the ring, as they say. I provide templates for you to use, not to copy, but to make your own. And I show you exactly within those templates how to personalize your outreach to your ideal client so that you get a response. Check out the freelance template playbook, where you can download 35 plus different freelance templates that give you every scenario. It's like, how do I reach out to a client? What do I say to the client when they reach out? What do I say when they negotiate my prices? These are all things that freelance writers really freak out about and struggle with. And I want to help you feel more secure. So definitely check out the freelance template playbook. It's going to be linked below. Now, income factor number 4 is your ability to communicate with clients. This is so key and kind of the most underrated, overlooked aspect of what really distinguishes people who are writing for pennies and the people who are actually earning 6 figures as freelance copywriters and get repeat work. You have to get out of your comfort zone, unfortunately, and talk to clients face to face on a Zoom call. Now, people might disagree with me. People might get up in arms about this advice, but I will die on that hill of telling you that if you meet face to face with your client, you're more likely to get paid more and you're more likely to get repeat business because you are building trust in a relationship. And you can look this up. It's a fact. We generally build trust with faces. Even in advertising, when ads have people and faces, we are more likely to click. We're human. We connect with other people via eye contact and faces. Hopefully you are able to get on a Zoom call and that you've done that before. But if you haven't, I recommend that you try, that you offer to get on a call with the client. It really sets you apart from a lot of writers who are trying to do business via email. Now, there's a certain way that you want to propose getting on a call. You don't want to do it too quickly because your prospective client might not even have confirmed that they need a writer, and all of a sudden you're saying, can we get on a call? Don't do that. But if they're really giving you a chance and they're asking you questions about your pricing, I would offer to get on a call. This is something I teach in my online course about when to get on a call, how to structure the call, how to be confident on a call, even though it's super nerve-wracking. But I'm telling you, what I love about this strategy is that a mediocre writer can really get their foot in the door and get big opportunities because they're building a relationship. It doesn't just come down to your talent and your portfolio. It comes down to how you communicate with that client and how you service them and what you provide them and how well you listen to them. That's what sets us apart from the robots. That's what's going to set you aside from the AI that could be taking over this industry. No one can get on a call and actually listen to the client and try to implement what they want the way you can if you actually put the time aside and get on calls with them and be personable and build a connection. If you're like me, you're introverted and these calls can be absolutely exhausting and so nerve-wracking. I totally get that. But if you can push yourself out of your comfort zone and get on those few initial calls, you will be dumbfounded on the opportunities that will open up for you. You'll also be shocked at how easy it becomes and how you do tend to calm down, and it becomes like riding a bicycle. It becomes a habit. You don't have to freak out and get nervous before the calls. It will fade. It will diminish. It's a skill just like anything else that you can hone. So if you are interested in the content writing, copywriting profession, you want to be a freelancer, you want to work for yourself and not have a boss, a commute, and all the bullshit office politics, I think you're going to like this video right here that I'll link to, where I explain to you a breakdown of what I actually do in my freelance business, what type of writing I love to do, what type of writing I don't like to do, and how I actually make my money as a freelance writer. And once you see that, I think all of this will feel a lot more tangible and doable for you. I hope that helps. See ya.